Hello, family. Back at you again. It's been a long time. I've been taking a break. I think I pretty much covered a lot of politics that is still um, relevant today, as well as some history and some knowledge about African Americans, and also try to even educate um, people of the white race as well. Nothing against white people, you know, um, although their hatred is kind of tiresome. Well, it ain't kind of. We are tired of it, and people all around the world is showing that they no longer care for it at all. And I'm just being nice when I say that. But I was looking at this program, and it was a young white man that was talking about, that was asking, well, if the black man is so powerful and if you're children of God, how is it that the Caucasian race, white race, dominated, conquered, and enslaved us, the African Americans, for over 400 years and still can do pretty much what he wants to do? Well, I just want to help. Hopefully, that young man comes across this video. First off, all people of different backgrounds and races have been given a chance to rule on this earth. You understand? The African ruled for probably close to over hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, we can go back to the Sumerians, where it has been dated. Modern scientists like to bring everything in between 5,000 years, because that's primarily when the Caucasian race came out of the caves, came out of the mountains of Caucasus. And even over there were people of black skin. Nowhere on this earth that there were people that the black man had not been there already. We were explorers, we were travelers, and we also helped other races to get jump started, as well as got knowledge from them. We were knowledge seekers. We were explorers. We were people that wanted to understand this here world and to also live in harmony with this world, with all other beings on this planet. So the Africans that were in when they migrated out, they jump started all different kinds of civilizations. Now, the Sumerians they've been dated back to over 200,000 years in some books and by some scholars, right, that really just go in depth with it. Primarily, most modern day and those of since the 1800s have always wanted to chronologize things to 5,000, maybe 10,000, because the further they dig, the more they see nothing but black faces, and that's everywhere on this planet, right? So even in parts of in China, you had the Genghis Khans, the Kublai Khans, and there was a whole lot of wars going on or whatever, but they still contributed to humanity in some kind of way, right? You had the Aztec Indians, the Incas, the people of Mexico. You had the Olmecs down there, who are big giant faces, as tall as something like 8 to 10 feet tall heads, some of them with wide noses and nothing but thick lips, African features, right? When you look into parts of Japan as well as China, there are black people living in the mountains. But through this thing called white supremacy, which started hundreds of years ago, you know, they every place where there were people and the Europeans went there, they instantly made those particular people, wherever they were at, understand that white is right, dark is not, right? And so they pushed all dark people, and that goes in every place you go, whether it's in the Latino countries, whether it's in Europe, China, wherever it is, even down in Australia, where we all know that the Aborigines were the first ones there. But to answer that guy's question, most other people went and shared knowledge all over the world, right? Especially the Africans. They were explorers, and they wanted to know of this planet and be in harmony with this planet. And they not ever went to conquer, steal, pillage, and kill right? No other planet. There's no records of that kind of stuff, right? So when everyone else has been given a chance, the last 5 to 6,000 years, 7,000 years, when the Caucasian came out of the mountain, they were educated by Africans, right? Throughout history, but the last ones that really educated them about eating cooked food, about taking baths, not showers, but bathing, about living in their even the royalty, living in their castles with the animals, sleeping in the same bed with them to keep warm, some of them even having sex with them, animal feces all over. It was the Moors who taught them compartmentize your animals or whatever. So when they did gain this knowledge, and the Greeks talk about it, do your homework. The Greeks talk about everything that they learned from mathematics, and all the sciences of today came from Egypt, and the knowledge Egypt got from beyond. You understand? The Greeks proudly say that there. The Romans even talked about it. Okay? Now, when the Greeks and the Romans became into power, they went to take over, steal, kill, pillage, all over. This is the type of mentality that they came out the cave with. Mine, mine, mine. And when they came, and it was God who gave them this ability to rule for a certain time. Now, the earth is still here, right? And most other people that ruled this earth kept this earth intact. However, this Caucasian man has been given a chance to rule for the last 6,000 to 7,000 years. And it's just like this here. God wanted to prove to Satan, if you're going by the Bible, wanted to prove to Satan that his children will stand through anything and will never leave him. We are the most prayingest people on this planet. You understand? We have been through so much in this country, and we still stick by God. And even though we have been stripped of every single thing, and the world has been stripped in so many different ways because of this Caucasian contact, right? We are the only people that have been through what we've been through and can still stand proud and continue to create, grow, and is empowered by God to continue to be victorious, right? No other people can do this here. However, if God is giving out a report card, which I do think that he is taking notes on everything, the people that have been in power all over this earth for the last, 300 to 400 years, that's a small time. Even America is only 200 and some odd, a short amount of time. Civilizations in Africa lived for eons. You understand? They can't even hold power and be a blessing to the world and the people of the world for not even longer than 300 years. I don't think that we can, with this man being in power, that we will survive. America will not survive on this planet for the next, to make 300 years. Why? Because of the evil, the pettiness. And what is driving this person? Greed and hate, right? And it feeds off of fear, So everywhere you go, it could be a wonderful setting with people enjoying themselves, but you got a set of white people that can't stand peace. They can't stand harmony. So they will come to destroy. The Bible talks about the thief comes to steal, kill, and murder, right? And destroy. That is exactly what this man is doing. So just as God has his children, Satan has his children. And that's the problem with these people. A lot of them don't want to recognize who they really are. They do know who we are, but they don't want to recognize who they are. And it's bothering them real. It's killing them. Because there's no way out. They have to admit they're wrong before they could ever come to God in the right manner. We are already with him. Keep your head up.